Hello, everyone, and welcome into the best in paranormal talk radio. This is Darkness Radio. I'm Tim Dennison for Dave Schrader. We had a bit of a tragedy this week, and I want to explain what's going to go on for today's program and tomorrow's program. Unfortunately, we lost Dave's father-in-law, Ed Field, this week. It was a sudden death, and we want to send our condolences out to Dave and to Winnie, Dave's wife, who lost her father this week. Winnie and her father, Ed, were close, and this one really hits home, and want to send our condolences out to Winnie and her sister, Kelly, who both were very, very close to their father. Of course, they lost their mother a couple years ago now, and that death hit home as well. They're a tight family, and we want to dedicate this weekend's shows to Ed Field. You know, as I was sitting and thinking about what shows I wanted to replay this weekend, you know, I talked it over with Dave, who came home this weekend to be with Winnie. And I said, what show did he want to do? And he picked out a custom show for tomorrow having to do with angels and reincarnated angels, which I think is appropriate. And it's an exciting show tomorrow. With Detective Robert Snow and a remarkable sign of angelic contact, and Ptolemy Tompkins and Officer Tyler Beddoes from February of 2016. So that show will air tomorrow, and it's quite a good show, and I think you'll enjoy that one. For today's show, for ParaShare, I wanted to do something that was classic, one that everybody talks about as one of the greatest ParaShare episodes out there. But I also didn't want to offend with it, and you may think that is unusual for us. See, there's this episode from January 5th of 2015. It's known as the It's Just a Dog episode. And everybody loves this episode, and they keep wanting to hear it, and they keep requesting it. The only problem is this, and let me give you a little bit of a background about this episode. The lady who wrote in on this episode, her name is Laura, wrote us after the episode, and she was highly offended about the fact that we made fun of her letter, because she claims that we took it out of context, and we took the letter out of context. Now, we went back and we read the letter. We didn't think we had taken it out of context, and I went back and I kind of double read the letter. And then I thought, you know what, we might have. And even Dave said as he was reading the letter, you know, I might be reading this wrong. If you listen to the show as we're presenting it, you'll hear Dave say, I may be reading this wrong. Listen to him say that, because he does even correct himself. I might be reading this wrong, or maybe this is going the wrong way. He even admits that, you know, he may be taking it into comedic territory, because we are having that type of show at this point with Eric and Tammy. We are having a more lighthearted show. So did we go too far with the material? Absolutely. And after the show, we apologized to Laura for a bit of a transgression. And we still maintain that apology to Laura. We are sorry we took it the way we did. This show originally was going to stay in the vault forever. We were never going to re-air it. And then I started listening to it again, just to see, does it stand the test of time, 1, and 2, something else hit me with the show. And that was in the third hour, because keep in mind we were 3 hours at that time. There's a listener who in the third hour emailed us while the show was going on. And he had stated his name was Dave as well. And he had stated that he was suffering with Bell's palsy and depression. And he hadn't laughed in quite a while. He was deep in the throes of depression because of his disease. And he just had been laughing so hard his sides hurt at the episode. And I thought to myself, you know, it's been kind of a hard week. It's been a hard week for Dave and Winnie. It's been a hard week for a lot of people out there. And I think we just need an episode to make us laugh. And I sat and listened to this episode, and I laughed throughout the entire episode. And I thought, maybe we just need an episode where we can laugh. Now, I know that this episode isn't funny to Laura, and I don't even know that Laura is still listening after 5 years. And I'll throw the apology out there one more time, Laura. I don't throw this out there to disparage you or to make fun of that story one more time. I don't do it in that spirit. I do this episode in the spirit of, you know what, there are so many people out there that have been clamoring for this episode one more time. It's been 5 years. And the rest of this episode is so very funny that I really feel like we all kind of need that pick-me-up. We've all been in this dark place for, well, gosh, since March with COVID and all the other things that have gone on. But, yeah, you know what? Maybe it's time to dig this one out of the archive and see if it still stands a test of time. And so I'll throw one more apology out there to Laura, and we'll air this episode in its entirety with the exception of some musical edits. It's essentially the same episode in its entirety. Here it is. It's Just a Dog episode of ParaShare from January 5th of 2015. God help me. It's the one you've been clamoring for from Darkness Radio. Here it is. It's just a dog.
That is spoken about only in whispers. A dark area that spawns the beginnings of urban legends. A place where anything can happen and usually does. During the light of day, it hides just outside of view. But when the sun goes down, spirits, creatures of the night, roam free, and things do go bump in the night. It is in every state and every country, and there is no escaping it, no matter how safe you feel behind your locked doors and latched windows. So we invite you to turn down the lights and turn up your radio while we join Dave Schrader and Tim Dennis, your hosts, on a journey into the darkness on the edge of town.
It's cold in Minnesota.
Boy, is it ever.
Cold in Minnesota.
I don't think people outside of the Midwest or Canada appreciate how cold it gets here.
I'm going to take the blame for the cold snap.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, because 6 years ago, roughly, I think it was, we did an event at the Palmer House.
Oh, yes, I remember
Hotel
that. Mm-hmm.
In Sauk Center, Minnesota. And after pretty much 12 years of mild winters,
right,
we plunged the state of Minnesota into subarctic weather. People came from around the world. There were people from California and all the way from like exotic places like Canada that were there. Yeah. And they came in, and if I recall, it got to negative
26 below.
26 below.
That was just the air temperature, not the wind chill.
With the wind chill, I believe at one point it got to negative 60.
Yes. Yeah.
Smokers would go outside thinking, well, I'm just going to hit a drag or two, and their lungs would freeze instantly upon puffing.
And that
was it.
At the Palmer House, the parking situation is unique in that sometimes you have to park on the street and then move your vehicle to the parking lot. And I went out at night to move my truck from the street to the parking lot.
Yeah.
And it was so cold that my heart was beating so hard that you could see my parka moving. And I thought that my heart was literally going to explode inside my chest, that it was that cold. I'd never felt that kind of cold ever before.
Yeah, that was insane cold.
Right.
And we have an event coming up in 2 weeks, and I'm afraid it's my fault we've plunged Minnesota into this. You can put all the blame on me. I'll take it.
Well, now here's the interesting thing. We're supposed to get really cold during the middle of the week here. Then we're going to warm up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we're going to plunge again.
Right in time for the event.
Well, hopefully we'll warm back up, though.
Yeah. No, it's not going to happen. We're going to be subarctic. You're going to see polar bears roaming around outside the Palmer House, feasting on the flesh of ghost hunters.
This is what they'll tell you, Dave. Anything outside of 7 days, you can't predict accurately.
I can. I'm telling you. We are going, because people are coming to Minnesota for our event. I can promise you, like, apocalyptic cold will happen here.
Well, now that you said that, it's going to be tropical and balmy.
And no, I'm trying to do that.
Oh, okay. It's going to be so cold,
Right.
you can't feel any appendage whatsoever.
Jinx my own jinx.
I see that.
It's
That's
double
clever.
jinx, Tim.
It's going to be
That's the way it works.
so cold,
Yeah.
you couldn't feel anything if you tried.
You know what'll happen is people will get here and it will drop 482 feet of snow. The biggest snowstorm
Right.
since dinosaurs walked the earth.
We're buried
Yeah.
in the ice age.
That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid. How about that? We're going to end up like with foreigners from different states
Right.
and exotic places like Canada,
Right.
stuck in the Palmer House,
Yeah.
frozen in, 8 feet tall snowdrifts. We're going to have to resort to eating one another.
Ain't the worst place to be trapped. It's very quaint. It's very
And they do have
beautiful.
a big oven, so I guess it'd be easy to cook our friends.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, this is what's going on. We've got a ParaShare Monday. That means we want to hear from you, and you can share your encounters with the strange and the supernatural. That's what we're looking at. I also promised right now, Tim, that I would do a movie review from the movie I went to see, and I went to see, is it Woman in Black, Lady in Black? I don't know, whatever. It's part 2. The first one with Daniel Radcliffe, I thought was really slow and just okay. And I don't know why I decided to go see the second one. The second one looked better in the commercials. Basically, it's during World War, I don't even know, World War I, World War II. I can't even be specific because I was so bored by the movie. But the idea is that they've taken over that creepy-ass house now, and they're going to put children there to protect them kind of during the bombings that are going on in London, Tim. Okay?
Sounds solid.
What we already know about the Woman in Black is that she doesn't like kids.
Well, it sounds solid.
And once you see her, kids start dying. So this is already a bad mix. And you think, okay, this should be good. We're bringing in not just a kid, we're bringing in a boatload of kids.
Oh, that'll make her
Oh, God, dude,
really
this
nice.
movie was so painfully boring and slow.
Was it?
Oh, my God. There were times I thought about just licking the back of the chair in front of me to see if that would add any excitement to the movie.
It might have. People leave stuff on the back of that chair.
Yeah, I didn't.
No.
I should have. It might have spiced things up.
Might have.
It was not good. I want to give you, out of 5 stars, 1 being great, 5 being Avengers. I still hold Avengers as pretty much, and Conjuring. Conjuring was a 5-star for me.
Okay.
I'm going to say 1 being and Babadook, and 5 being Avengers first Planet of the Apes movie, the new reboots. Those kind of perfection to me. I'm going to put this at a solid 2.25 stars.
All right.
I almost said 2.5, but I'm going to even take that away from it.
Okay.
I'm going to bet 2 stars. That's it. That's all I'm going to give it.
Just 2.
Not even a quarter. Because
Take the quarter away. Get it out of
I
there.
couldn't enjoy it. It was so slow. Oh, you don't understand, Dave. That's what they're doing. They're building the tempo.
They ain't building
They
nothing.
weren't building nothing.
No.
It was so boring. I didn't care about the characters. I didn't care about the kids. I wanted kids to die in this movie.
They were building a big brick house.
Does that make me a bad man?
No.
There were kids I was rooting for. I'm like, oh, let this one go painfully.
No.
Yeah, because they were little jerks.
Starve them of their gruel and let them die.
And even the little kid that was supposed to be kind of the hero of the movie, I just thought, oh my God, I would crack that kid in the forehead with a spoon if he was hanging around with me because he's so irritating. Does that make me a bad man?
No.
I think it might.
Well,
cracking kids in the head with a spoon is not a good thing.
Here's the deal, though, Dave. You exert enough patience with your own children.
Yeah.
It's okay to crack other kids in the head with a spoon.
Is that the rules?
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm going to have to look into the laws. I'm not
it's
sure if that's
forgivable.
legitimately okay.
It's forgivable.
All right. So
Sure.
I didn't see Escape from Tomorrow. I didn't see that movie.
Who's
I
in
know
that
Jeremy Holland watched it. Call in, Jeremy. You said you want to give a non-spoiler filled review. That's the one where they filmed it at Disney.
Oh, that's right.
And
That's right.
snuck an entire movie. They filmed the entire movie in Disney. And I want to watch it. I've got it on there. Phone line's ringing. It might be Jeremy. Let's do this. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll do some ParaShare. I've got great stories to share with you. We got your phone calls ringing in. We've got more coming right here on the best in Paranormal Talk Radio. Plus, I have something new to throw out to you. An idea. We have people sitting in studio with Tim and I right now trying to sell us on the idea that you people, the people I love, want to see our ugly mugs stream live on Friday nights. You let me know what you think. We'll talk about that. So we've got 2 people in studio with us, and Eric and his lovely bride, and they are interested in, go ahead, grab the microphone. Yeah, you can swing it in front of you. They're not, let it go because you're on.
I'm sorry.
No problem, swinger. They're interested in streaming video of our show, Tim. on Friday nights to start, maybe.
Okay.
And so here's my thoughts. We don't do much.
It's like watching paint dry on Friday.
Right, sometimes we stare at each other with glossy looks.
Mind you, I come in pantsless, but it's under the counter.
Yeah, you can't see you, but I'm in here in like wife beaters,
right,
and baby oiled up because I like to feel like I like to feel
strong.
I do.
It is a little awkward.
Yeah. I kind of pencil the muscle marks in.
He does, yeah.
Yeah, with
it
eyebrow
looks good.
pencil. Yeah, so I want to look good for this, but I don't know. I don't know where I stand on this. I'm open to ideas. I don't know. Streams. Do you want to see Dave, Tim, and sometimes Mally?
Sometimes. That's the gamble.
As we wax poetic on Friday nights and we read stupid stories from around the world, and they're telling me that during the stories they'll be able to inject the photographs and videos so people that are watching can see what we're talking about. So when you refer to being pantsless, they'll switch to the camera under.
Oh, good.
The
right.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that would be the sensual pants camera.
Yeah. So.
Well, in that case.
Yeah. But so that's the idea. Email me, dave@darknessradio.com. Does this sound like a good idea? Would you people, the people I love, our listeners, would you want that?
That would be a little better because you know what the death of Howard TV was?
What?
The fact that they didn't do anything but just show them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he brought in a lot of women who showed their boobs.
Well, there is that, but we don't
haven't got
have
that.
that.
We don't have that.
No. There's just
Maybe we
me
could get
showing
like a
my boobs.
Sasquatch in here and a chupacabra to show their boobs.
Right.
Well,
Maybe we need to rethink
pictures up
this.
behind you
Of boobs?
I
think Tim and I are
Sasquatch,
big enough
maybe.
boobs.
Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to hear from the listeners. You can call in tonight and tell us, or you can email us, whatever your thoughts are on this. So here's the scoop. Give us a call right now if you have a story to share. You're on hold trying to get a free wishing machine. You better damn well have a paranormal story to share, too. So you better have a story. That's all I got to say. You better. You better, you better, you bet.
Most of them.
See, Eric, nobody wants to see me doing that.
Next song.
Nobody wants to see that.
Nobody.
So if we tell our paranormal story, do we get our name put in?
No.
Oh.
You guys are
Darn.
trying to work with the show. That's sorry. One of the perks of working with us is you get nothing. Get used to it. A big old hairy fat nothing. Let's take a call and then we'll let our guests in studio talk to us about theirs. Bailey. First of all, I love the name Bailey in Northwest Pennsylvania. Welcome to the show. What's your story?
Hey, Dave. I love your show. I'm a long-time listener.
Well, thank you very much. How long is long time?
About 3 years.
All right, that's pretty good. I'll take that. That's a good answer. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 15 years old. I do have school tomorrow, but my dad let me stay up and share this paranormal story with you.
Excellent. Well, I'm sorry we kept you waiting so long. Hit me, son. What have you got?
All right. Well, 5 years ago, there was a man named Gary and his wife named Janet. Now, I have a trailer that's right beside me, and they moved in there 5 years ago, and we're living there. And he was odd. My dad and I knew as soon as he moved in, we knew he was, trouble. Because, he would go out to the road and collect roadkill and take it inside his house. We just thought that was, bizarre. And,
yeah, that's out there. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah. We always had, domestic cats that would control pests like mice and moles and snakes, and, that was always nice to have around the house.
Right.
And these 10 to 15 cats would just come and go, hunting in the woods and would just do their thing. And, after these cats, we had like 10 to 15 of them, and we would notice each day that they would just keep disappearing. And, it was Christmas time. My cousin and I had gotten these night vision goggles from my grandfather, and, we went up into the field, and we have a 500-yard field, like a really big one. And we went up, and we're just trying it out, and not being like a peeping Tom, we just went down to check out the trailer because we noticed something odd. And we looked in the window, and we saw Gary's wife, Janet, butchering a cat and was getting ready to put it on the stove and cook it.
Well, now you started off by saying not that you were being peeping Toms, but that's the quintessential version of being a peeping Tom, Bailey. But I understand what you're doing here.
Yeah.
Sure. So cat cooking. All right.
Yep. And,
so at this moment, are you horrified or are you a little hungry?
I'm a little nervous.
Sure. Okay.
And, I look in there and I just take off running with my cousin back to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And, we would, right after we saw this, we, would go back, tell my dad, and he would just be like, no way, what did you see? And we would just tell him from what happened at the beginning. And it was just hard for him to believe, and hard for my mom to believe as well. Now, as soon as they moved out, all these cats were gone whenever they had moved out. And we would hear, like, the cats screaming from outside, so we were a little confused, because when we noticed that all the cats were gone, we knew that there was no way that we could be hearing these noises again.
Mm-hmm.
And, we would look outside and we thought that maybe it was just sick or scared, and we would go out and get them, but there's no sight of the cats. And we noticed that whenever we took my 240-pound English Mastiff outside, he would chase after imaginary things, and we would notice that that's, weird that he could sense something was strange. And
so you think that the woods were thick and loaded with ghost cats?
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I imagined it would be. And, we would follow tracks up into the field, and right when we got up into that field, the tracks would just disappear. And we knew that, if it was like a bear or something that killed it, we'd see like blood and fur all over the place, but we didn't see that, and we knew that we didn't have any birds that were strong enough to pick up a cat like that and take it off somewhere. And, I've seen hawks and eagles like that, and I know they can't pick cats up like that and just take them, because we had pretty big ones. And I wondered if, you knew anything strange that would have happened like this.
Well, people do weird stuff all the time, Bailey, and eating roadkill probably sounds a lot weirder than it really is. I'm sure there are some people that probably do that. I wouldn't recommend it, but, different strokes for different folks. But ghosts of animals, yeah, I've heard about that a lot. We've had encounters. I've had my own encounters with that. So,
right.
Yeah, very, very bizarre stuff, but thanks a lot for staying up late to talk to me and share that story, Bailey.
Absolutely, and I just wanted to share that story with you. I knew that you would be interested in that.
I was. Thank you very much. See, the listeners know me so well. When they think weird people eating roadkill, they think Dave Schrader. It's right there for them.
You are branded well.
Yeah, well, I'm something. Well, let me grab Francine in Los Angeles, and she's far away, so we can hear her story. Hey, Francine, what's your story for me, dear?
Hi, Dave. I got in on the wishing machine.
Nice.
It's very bizarre what happened.
Okay.
I showed my husband the movie The Bishop's Wife tonight.
Sure.
This evening. I know you just saw that yourself, and you thought what a great movie it was.
It was, right.
And what's weird is I also heard Rosemary Allen Guiley talking today about angels and about how you have to ask angels to help you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting a new business. We just started getting it going today. So I was explaining to my husband, you have to ask angels for help. It kind of went with the movie. And when you ask for the help, like with the wishing machine, you have miracles happen. So we watched the movie. It was great. We're getting ready to go to bed. And I've been wanting a wishing machine really bad. But I have to buy a lot of stuff for the new business. So I go to take our dogs out, and our back porch lights, we have 2 lights that have been frozen, and they're these special filaments that we go through them a lot, and they've been out for a couple of weeks. I mean, they're frozen dead. I go to turn the light on, both lights come on.
Weird.
Right after we watched the movie, and then I hear you say, we have a chance to win the wishing machine.
There you go.
So,
it's synchronicity, a connecting principle linked to the invisible. Very cool. Well, I'm glad you listened. I'm glad you got your name into the drawing. We'll be doing the drawing the second. That's right. Second Monday of February. The drawing will be done. It's totally at random. We're going to have somebody come in here. We'll cut the names, throw them in a box. Somebody random is going to pull it, Francine. So I wish you luck.
Thank you, Joshua, for donating it.
Very cool. Thanks a lot for listening in. All right, sitting in front of us, Tim, are IT geniuses that want to put us on people's screens so that they can watch us on Friday nights whilst we do the show. We're starting it off as a possibility on Friday nights, maybe Monday nights for ParaShare. I don't know yet.
And they don't realize the two bald guys are very shiny.
Right. Yeah.
There's a filter for that.
A lot of camera glare.
There's a filter. You're going to have to swab the lens with a bunch of Vaseline, sort of like the old movie stars when they don't close-ups. We always look kind of foggy. And
We'll be a J.J. Abrams show with lens flare.
Oh, lots of twinkling lens flare? I'd like that.
Lots of lens flare.
I will wear pasties for that. Sparkly ones.
Sparkle lens flare off your forehead.
So let's talk. You guys, we've got in studio with us E. Reich and Tamika.
Yes.
And they're here to share their stories with us.
Those are our stage names. By the way.
I got it. Excellent. I love your work on BET. And
thank you.
No, Eric, what have you
sound like?
What have you got? You've had a paranormal experience?
We have.
Now wait, is it fair? Should we bother to let you tell the story, or should we just get it done the right way the first time and have Tamika tell us the story? Because she already seems to be chomping at the bit over there to correct you, and all you've said is, well, we do have.
That's my job.
Well, I think it's more entertaining if I start it and then she corrects me as I go through the story.
All right, we're going to do like the 1950s married couple thing. I like that. Let's do this.
Yes.
All right, and action.
All right. So a little over 11 years ago, Tamika, or Tammy, as we like to call her, when she's not on stage, was pregnant with our now 11-year-old son. And he is our fourth child.
Okay.
And
is there going to be a test after this?
There will be a test.
Names and numbers and numbers.
I was going to tell you the short version.
Okay.
I'm building excitement and interest in this story.
I'll be the judge of that.
Thank you.
All right. So she's pregnant with your now 11-year-old son.
Yes. And
it was your fourth child.
It was our fourth child. It was becoming a difficult pregnancy.
Okay.
She went in for an ultrasound and found a blood spot where it shouldn't be.
That's because I fell off a stage, actually. For real.
Really?
Yes, we were, she was,
pole dancing?
Her and
I wish.
Stage name.
Put your hands
actually at a high school near where we live. She was working with the production group and unfortunately fell off the stage when the lights were off.
Oh my gosh.
So she had an ultrasound done and found a blood spot, which was not good. We were a little worried about that.
Sure.
Doctor put me on bed rest.
Yep.
Okay.
She also during that time started spiking a fever. I think it was around. It was just a culmination of things.
That was a different time though.
So,
come on.
See, I'm getting
get
corrected.
your story together.
You are getting corrected.
All right.
It's not scripted.
So, but this you remember it well.
So anyway, I'm probably more skeptical than Tammy is in terms of the paranormal and things like that. However, she was in bed, not doing well. Obviously, we were all kind of getting emotional and nervous about the whole thing.
Let me take this part.
Are you going to take this part?
I'm going to take this part.
Isn't this the one I saw?
I can correct you.
Okay.
All right.
Tamika.
So in bed, I have a thing about angels. I love angels.
Okay.
I've got angel statues, angel knickknacks. Just really have always had a connection with angels. Anyway, so we are religious, obviously, and I remember one night I was up in bed because I was on bed rest, but it was getting towards evening, and I started praying to Saint Gabriel.
Okay.
And asking him to protect my baby and let everything be okay. And I have this picture that is of an angel looking after a little boy leaning out over a turtle. And it was in my hallway. And I just happened to glance up at it. And it seemed almost like it became 3D all of a sudden. And it was just kind of like it moved out a little bit and then back in. And I kind of just shook it off and went, okay, that's weird, time for bed.
Out of curiosity, did the little boy and the turtle, did he say, Mr. Turtle, how many licks does it take?
No, that's an owl.
But Mr. Turtle goes, go ask Mr. Owl. Remember, because he's an old tortoise. Sorry, I digress.
No, that's fine. Right. That's fine. Okay. So I kind of just shook it off, didn't think much of it. Thought, it's time for bed.
It's just a 3D picture coming to life. Yeah, why would you bother
I figured it was my
putting any time into that?
eyes going bonkers or something.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so like I said, I wasn't really looking for anything. I just thought, that's weird. So I went to bed, and he was downstairs.
He has a name, okay, Tamika?
Yeah.
Eric, okay.
What were you calling him?
Erek, yeah.
Erek. Erek. So he was downstairs. Now I'll shift it over to him because I didn't find out about this till the next morning.
So I was downstairs and I came up and again I think it's important to note that I'm a skeptic. So I mean, if I see something, I'm like, whatever,
Yeah, sure.
It's a draft.
Yeah.
Yes, Ryan, I stole that from you. So I opened the door.
Sure.
And
to the bedroom.
To this day, I'd swear on a stack of Bibles, I saw something sitting at the end of the bed with her.
Okay.
And it was just a glance. It was just, and it was a full body something.
Okay. Was it glowing white or anything?
It was I want to say misty, but it was like a whitish, see-through.
Was there beautiful music like Terrence Trent D'Arby coming from it?
No, nothing as good as that. So, I saw it and then I just kind of dismissed it because I thought, it was late. I'm tired. We're under a lot of stress.
Right. Sure. I understand. Right.
So I'll let you finish the rest of it out because
me. All right.
No, not you.
Oh,
Tamika.
Had an interesting ending for that story.
So the next morning we wake up. I think it was on a weekend, and it's like we woke up and it's like, oh, I got to tell you what happened last night because I was going to tell him about the picture, and he's like, I got to tell you what happened last night.
Always trying to one up you, isn't he?
I know. I tell you. But so anyways, needless to say, we were both quite surprised. And then all of a sudden we kind of gave some meaning to these things.
Sure.
And it was like, okay, well, this is really weird. And, but I did feel at that point a sense of calm.
Sure.
And I thought everything was going to be okay. And what was it, about a week later?
Yeah.
I think it was about a week later. We ended up having to go back in for a follow-up ultrasound. And we went in, the doctor comes, the doctor comes back in after looking at it and says, wow. He goes, the blood spot's gone. And I'm like, great.
Well, wouldn't you reabsorb anyway?
That's what I said, well, great. He goes, no, you don't understand. When these go away in this short of a time, there's a shadow. There's a shadow of where it was, of where the blood spot was. And he goes, yours is completely gone. Like it wasn't ever there. And I thought, okay, that is just really cool.
We really took that as that we were being taken care of. And
I mean, with everything else that happened, with him seeing the figure, with me seeing the picture, and then this happening, we thought this is just really cool. And we decided at that point we were going to name our son Gabriel.
Oh, that's very cool.
So his middle name is Gabriel. After that,
and he's our little angel.
Oh,
so
is he?
He's a sweetheart.
So usually you name your kid something like that, and they're like the biggest hellion.
No. But his older brothers. He has 3 older brothers, and they're all jealous that he doesn't nearly get the punishments that they get. And it's like, well, he's better than you guys are.
Oh, jeez. All right.
No.
Wow. And as I'm talking to you, I'm getting texts from my other children scolding me. Okay. So, but I do have to say, it's a draft. Because we were watching a paranormal show last night, and
You're allowed to say which one.
Was it Ghost?
I remember you guys put it on.
Yeah. It's a haunting. Sorry.
Okay.
A haunting. New episode last night, and it was we were making fun of it because there was like all this misty CGI going on, and my 16-year-old son out of the blue goes, "It's a draft," and we just all of us died laughing. It was just absolutely perfect timing and hilarious.
A location joke. You had to be there.
You had to be there, and yeah.
Well, that's cool though. That's a great little miracle story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very good stuff happened. Well, good.
We were blessed, and it's a pretty wild story.
I'm sorry about the other kids. It didn't work out so well, but at least you've got Gabriel to keep things.
1 out of 4, I guess we're doing
right. I've got 7. I'm waiting for 1 out of them to turn out to be good. I'm just kidding. I love most of my kids. Good evening. Welcome back to the show. This is the best in paranormal talk radio. Darkness Radio is on the air. I'm your host, Dave Schrader, along with me, Tim Dennis. A lot of emails over the weekend, again, from listeners, Tim, saying, how do we hear the replays of the Coast to Coast show? Can Tim post those for us?
No.
All right. Is it because you're a jerk, Tim, and you just don't want to take the time to post them?
No.
Is it because we want to charge mucho money for it?
No.
All right. No, here's the case. We don't own the shows. That's Coast to Coast's property.
Yep.
I host the shows, and when I leave, that's it. It's just like a band doesn't own the club they're playing in. When they come in and play it, they leave. The band, the club's still owned by the same people.
Yeah.
It was probably not a great analogy, but
No.
you get the point. But what you can do if you want to listen to those episodes for like $6 a month, I think it's 15 cents a day, go to coasttocoastam.com. That's coasttocoastam.com. You'll get access to 5 years of their past archives. You'll get access to live chats with the hosts from Coast to Coast. You'll get live access to chats with a lot of the celebrities and the speakers from Coast to Coast. So go check that out. Be a part of it. It's awesome. You should do that. And then you'll get to hear all the episodes. So if you can't listen to them live when I'm hosting, you can go back and listen to their archives for free.
Or send me $50.
Aren't I worth $6 a month to listen to those specials?
Or send me $50. I'll send you the file.
That's illegal. Don't
What?
do that.
Oh,
Tim.
I meant, or go to Coast AM and join the Insiders Club.
That's better.
Because that's better.
Oh, my God. You're trouble. All right, we're back. We are doing a ParaShare Monday. Joining us on the air right now to do a movie review for me, since I fell down and did not end up watching. Is it called Escape from Tomorrow, Jeremy?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so this is a movie that was filmed all inside Disneyland, unbeknownst to Disney itself. I mean, this movie shouldn't exist, right? Because they filmed it, they never got permission, they released it on their own, and it's kind of become its own little thing. And it's, I guess it was pretty widely liked at the different movie summits.
It was released originally at Sundance in 2013.
Yeah, so now you got a chance to watch it.
Yes, I did.
Is it low budget? I mean, is it grainy, crappy filming? Is it at least on par with Night of the Living Dead or worse?
It's all filmed in black and white, except for the very end, which is in color. And there's a reason behind that for the people that watch it. I gotta say, it wasn't grainy. It was low budget because the cameras that they used were cameras that vacationers would use there within the Disney park and whatnot.
Okay.
Now, the movie starts out with, I'll just give this one little piece, so spoiler to everybody. The movie starts out with the star, Jim, who is a family man. He's got his 2 kids and his wife there. They're on their last day of vacation. And he receives a phone call from his office saying he's being fired. So he's determined not to ruin the vacation, so he decides not to tell his wife, and they continue on. Well, this kind of starts a downward spiral at that time. It's, in my opinion, I like the movie. And now, when I was talking to you earlier, I told you that I gave it 2 stars. 1 whole star, in my opinion, was because of the fact that they called this the first guerrilla film.
Right.
With the guerrilla tactics, with the way that they did it. It took them like 13 days to film it because of the tactics that they were using.
All right. So you liked it. You're giving it 1 whole star out of 2 just because of the originality of what they did to create this movie.
Correct.
All right. And then the second star is for what?
I mean, the second star, it wasn't that bad. I mean, the whole storyline, it had a lot of those illogical twists and turns in it where you think to yourself, what did that mean? Why did they do that? But I think that, with what they had to work with, I think that they did a pretty good job, in my opinion.
So the idea behind it that we're kind of into the slow descent of madness of this guy dealing with the stresses and pressures of life, and here he is in the happiest place on earth, and he starts to wonder if he's losing his mind or if there's really something weird going on.
Exactly.
Okay.
And like he's on some of the rides, and the one ride where they sing the song "It's a Happy World After All," where you see all the little children, the robots and whatnot.
Right.
Well, as he's going through the ride,
he's starting to see like evil faces on them and whatnot. It's just
Sure.
It's pretty interesting. I liked it, and I heard you talk about it on Saturday, and on Friday night. So I figured I'd have to take a look at it.
So I don't know if you just sold me on wanting to waste the time to watch it now. Only 2 out of 5 stars, not great.
Well, if you have a few hours to burn, like with me, it was early Saturday morning. I just woke up. I was drinking a cup of coffee, so I figured I'd watch it.
All right, maybe I'll give it a shot on that and see. Maybe that'll win me over. All right, Jeremy, thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks a lot for giving us the quick review on Escape from Tomorrow. You can find it on Netflix right now, and we'll look forward to hearing from you again in the future, sir.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, thanks a lot. We've got some stories to share. Tim, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Hi, Dave, Tim, and Mally. If she's there, haha.
Ha-ha.
Not there. Greetings from rainy England. I'm a pretty new listener to your show, having been catching up with your podcast archives from the beginning of November, and I absolutely love it. That's what it says at the beginning of the email.
Well, that's good, yeah.
A few nights ago, I listened to a show on night terrors, and it reminded me of the 2 experiences I've had like this, though I don't think they're exactly the same. I'd be curious to know your thoughts on them. I think one might be a visitation, though I have no clue about the other. Okay, the first experience was when I was a little kid, maybe 9 or 10. I'd always seen weird things in my house growing up, a headless woman and people in mirrors, but the things I saw most were shadow people, and they were always in the same room, my bedroom, which, as I type this out, is the bedroom nearest to the graveyard, a 5-minute walk away. Huh? That's what it says here. Huh? I read it as it's written. Anyway, they were always in that room, just chilling. I got pretty used to them, even though they did like to play jokes from time to time. I remember a few instances where I would reach over to pick something up and have one appear right in front of me. Another time I was walking into my room and saw one standing through my bed, like the bed didn't exist around it. I didn't even blink, and suddenly it was a foot away from my face. It stayed completely solid until my heart had calmed down and then slowly faded to smoke. As you can probably understand, I am not much of a jump scare fan nowadays. Sorry, anyway, I've gotten sidetracked. Again, that's what's written in the letter, Tim. Like I said before, I was 9 or 10. I had become used to the shadows by then, having grown up with them, and could mostly ignore them. I've had some weird looks from walking around them and through them. It was a typical night for me at the time, or at least I thought it was. I went to sleep easily, and I remember I didn't dream. It was just black with an increasingly uncomfortable feeling that I was being watched. I opened my eyes. There was a shadow figure standing right by my pillow. It must have been about 7 feet tall and was wearing a black hooded cowl. The hole where its face should have been was solid black, a completely different color to the material it was wearing. There was nothing but pure emptiness. It absorbed the moonlight rather than lighten with it. I could see the moonlight on its clothes, but under the hood it was like concave, a void, right, rather than just the black object. Have you ever heard of a shadow figure that reacted to light and dark? I mean, this thing was so solid that it had shadows of its own. I was overcome with the need to touch its clothes, but I didn't. This was completely different to the shadows that I usually interacted with. It didn't feel evil. It just felt like the end. And I knew in my childish way that if I touched it, I would die. I was terrified, not of it being there, just of the knowledge that the end of all I was literally standing a foot away from me, and how easy it would be to just reach out and accept what it was offering. It wasn't trying to touch me. It didn't do anything that I've heard other figures doing in night terrors, like climbing on the bed or suffocating me. It was just standing there. It stared down at me. I stared back into its bottomless pit of darkness. We had a moment, but I wasn't going to do it. So I did what any kid would do under these circumstances. I hid under the blankets, seemingly useless, I know. I'd been gawking at this thing for a few minutes by then, but it worked. When next I surfaced, it was gone. I double-checked the room. I had gotten into the habit of putting a line of clothing against the door so I could tell if someone had gone or been in my room while I was asleep. too many Bond movies, I think, but they were undisturbed, and the feeling of being watched was gone also. So I shrugged and went back to sleep. All right, Tim. We have a lot of shadow people stories.
Yep.
A lot of people wake up to shadows standing in their room. And then they just kind of, okay, back to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You wake up and you think you're looking at the Grim Reaper right there in front of you. And that you know that if you reach out and touch this thing, you're gone. You're dead. Do you just, good night, and then roll back over and go to bed? Maybe it's because of my fear of death.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't sleep forever. Eternity. I would be eating Sanka spoonfuls. Do they still sell Sanka?
Yeah, but Sanka was decaffeinated, so it wouldn't do you much good.
Yeah. Shoot. Yeah. No wonder.
You probably want to go for Folgers
tried
crystals.
That in college. Yeah, Folgers crystals. Huffing them or what? You just hold them in your mouth under your
snort
tongue?
Them. Yeah.
I think that'd hurt. Do you hold them under your tongue?
Yeah, you could do that too.
Do you?
Yeah,
just kind of
straight shot to the adrenal gland.
Is it like chaw, a little chew?
Yeah, a little chew.
Yeah, some Folgers crystal chew.
Probably what you should do. Probably the best course to take.
Would that work, do you think? Would you just absorb that caffeine without it being watered down?
I think your mouth would dry out like trying to chew on sand. That's what would happen.
Yeah, but would it wake you up? That's what I want to know.
Well, eventually, yeah.
How many times have you had a mouthful of sand?
I played baseball. I had a lot of mouths full of sand. I don't slide very well.
Where would you play? At the beach?
Oh, well, you had dirt infields, didn't you?
Dirt? I didn't have sand.
Did you ever slide head
Not
first?
with my mouth open, son.
Did you ever slide head first?
I'm coming in. No, I don't. Look, do you see me? Do I look like the kind of guy that slides into anything besides my bed?
No.
No, right, exactly. Sliding, I could get dirty, Tim. I don't know what part of outdoors you don't understand that I don't like. Sliding in the dirt was not my plan of an idea. Besides, baseball was not good to me. I got hit in the head. Mm-hmm. Same guy, Blake Knight, hit me in the head with a pitch, right? Mm-hmm. He broke my nose when I was catching. Mm-hmm. Flipped up my mask. I almost said my ass. He did flip me up over my ass. So I flipped my mask up. It was 9 million degrees out that day. You can check the records. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. 9 million degrees, Roselle, Illinois. And I flipped up my mask and I wiped my brow because there's a little timeout. And I look over to the stands, hot girl sitting in the stands. And I'm like, how you doing? All of a sudden I see the glint and I turn my head as he swings his bat straight back into my face.
Oh,
boom, lifts me in the air, busts my nose. Same guy. Then they put me in the outfield. Mm-hmm. Another game, Blake Knight gets up, hits one of those grounders. It never actually touches the ground, but goes 9 gajillion miles an hour screaming across the ground without touching. And as I bend down, as you're supposed to do, I bent one knee down, I put my glove out, it hits a clump of dirt and then jackknifes and goes right into my fellas.
Ooh.
And pins one fella to my thigh and the other one against the hardened plastic of the cup nut holder. Mm-hmm. I don't remember much after that. I saw a blinding flash of light and I could taste my own parts. And I was like, out, and I was done.
It tastes like Rocky Mountain oysters?
Blake Knight, same guy, 3 times, broke my nose, hit me in the head, and busted up my nuts.
Maybe
I don't like outdoors. I don't like sports.
The moral to the story here is don't play baseball with Blake.
I didn't ever again.
Okay.
I would just go to the games and I'd stare at him and I'd be like, you will never hurt me again.
Was it an accusatory, like a Hallmark movie moment where you point your finger angrily at him?
I was waiting for my moment. It was the early 80s, and I never got the slow clap as I got up and walked away. I never got the... Never got that moment. Can you make that happen for me at one of the events?
I will.
For my birthday, can you, like, I walk in the room and then you guys all just kind of look around, start nodding, and then just slow clap? I want you to give me the slow clap, Tim. That's what I'm asking for.
Well,
for my birthday, can you give me the slow clap?
Boy, will I ever give it to you.
So anyway, boy, are we off topic. This poor kid has just got a story to share, and I don't even remember where we're at.
We were going with
the point is,
Grim Reaper.
You wake up, Grim Reaper standing in your room, above your bed, you just roll over and go, good night. Could you, Eric, turn on your microphone and talk to me?
It's that.
There we go. Yeah. Magic. You didn't even touch it. It was like lit up.
I thought about it. And
seriously, Tamika, you can grab your mic as well.
Bonquisha, what do you think?
Bonquisha. Are your children Sufadrina, Nyquilla, and Benadryla listening to the show as well?
and that's usually their drink before bed.
A mixture?
Exactly.
Cocktail? Let Daddy just put that in the blender, honey.
Mom and Dad need to get some rest.
Right.
There you go.
Their cousins Lamangelo and Arangelo.
Yeah.
You know, it's an interesting story. Do you hear many stories about, waking up in the middle of the night and seeing like...
Oh, I thought you meant about me being abused in baseball was an interesting story.
It was.
Not, sorry.
That was too, but I mean, where you walk... The only
a lot of shadow people stories on the show. You should listen sometime.
So yeah.
Mister, I want to film you.
All I hear about is dark-eyed people and things like that.
Yeah.
I have dark-eyed children.
Yes. Black-eyed kids.
Black-eyed kids. I'm sorry.
Welcome to the new century.
I'm sorry. I'll get there. So, anyways, the reason I ask is because I grew up in Germany.
No, you didn't.
For about 3 years. My dad was in the military, so I'm an Army brat.
And when it was time to go, did he go, get to the chopper? If you want to live, come with me.
We need to evacuate now.
Now. Get aboard the helicopter, son.
Oh, not again.
I think that's Austrian, actually. But
you know what?
Austrian,
you're going to just have attitude.
I'm just,
same.
Tamika, how do you put up with this guy?
Yeah.
I have that tune out.
So you came from Germany.
So I lived in Germany when I was relatively young.
Sure.
And see, I didn't come to ParaShare Monday planning to share. Okay. However, I have a story. And so I had a dream that I was running down the street in this neighborhood that we lived in Germany. And then when I woke up, to this day, I swear to God, I saw the devil sitting next to me in my room, and in kind of the same situation where I didn't just like go to sleep. It was like, holy crap, I'm 5. What am I don't know.
How'd you know it was the devil
just yet? It just, my mom's Catholic.
And he looked like John Lovitz.
Your mom's Catholic? What does that got to do with anything?
Well,
Did you have pictures of the devil up around the house so you knew?
This is what you need to worry
Your
about.
mom's got like a devil with a big circle with a red slash through it?
Pretty much,
No devil, honey.
Yes.
Eric, no.
No thinking evil thoughts.
Your father'd walk in the room and go, don't look at Satan. He's no good. Get to the chopper.
He comes to the house on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Come to the baptismal font if you want to live forever in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Are you supposed to do the I'm back or something like that? No.
That'd just be weird.
That would just be odd.
So you saw the devil sitting in your bed.
You're 5 years old. And you don't know, right?
Well, obviously you did.
It was very shaking, and I kind of did the covers over the head, and
devils hate that. Oh, the devils hate sheets.
Well,
they're like, son of a bitch, I was going to take your soul.
And then I
didn't sound like
my head.
Antonio Banderas.
He did, yeah. Well,
proof that Antonio Banderas. Sexy. No wonder women just
now we're going from Austria to
I'm
Mexican.
Satan. How are you doing, my friend?
Latino.
I don't think I'm Mexican. I'm a man of the world. I'm Antonio Banderas.
I don't know.
So you saw Satan. What did you go to bed? It happens. Did you hear those pops? That's a baby's born every time I do that voice.
Is it?
One's conceived every time Dave does the voice.
Women just.
And you have 7 children, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there explains a lot.
Not so much. I just lay there and sweat. I'm old. So you saw Satan sitting on your bed.
Next to me.
Yeah,
not on the bed. I had the sheets over me.
So where was he sitting?
He was just like right next to me, and
was he standing or sitting?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I don't know. So you
like
me
Ralph the dog.
later.
Finish those cookies. Hey, can I have a sip of your water? Tell your mom you need water. I'm thirsty. It's hot in hell.
So
with ice cubes.
Yeah.
Tamika's laughing.
Yeah. So you saw Satan. Did you go back to bed when you pulled up the sheets? Satan vanished. Was he frustrated?
Pretty much. Yeah. I think he saw. Damn. He pulled the sheets over.
Ooh, sheets.
Safe. And
Egyptian cotton.
And the funny thing now is I have a CPAP machine that I sleep with, so I can cover my head up.
At all. That's
it's like a
actually
snorkel.
Sad. Is it like a snorkel?
So I don't.
Do you ever play Top Gun? That's what I do with mine. I slap it on and I call Tim and I'm like, Goose, we got to go in. He calls me Maverick. I call him Goose.
Exactly.
Now that's what you should film. The two of us at our houses wearing our CPAP machines, talking to each other like it's Top Gun. Yeah. Sometimes Tim will dress like Kelly McGillis. Don't question me.
Don't question me.
And do you do the Spanish voice then, or you just do the?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes.
People would tune in for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, this person's story just off the rails. I'm going to take a break. We'll come back and we'll get back into the story. But did you go to sleep eventually?
I did go to sleep.
Or were you just terrified because the devil was there?
I was terrified, but then, yes, I covered my head, which protects all children.
The devil went down to Germany. He was
I
looking
was
for
just
souls.
thinking that.
He was in a bind because he was way behind. He was willing to make a deal. Yeah. When he came across this little boy sitting in his bed and he pulled up his sheets, and the devil said, you son of a bitch, I'm going to something beats. I can't.
Yeah. Just do the Spanish thing again.
There's babies not being conceived right there.
Yep.
Yeah. Just do the Spanish thing. All right. When we come back, that was pretty much a story anyway. But when we come back, we have the second story.
Oh.
It goes back to 2013 from our listener, Laura.
Oh, boy.
I'm sorry, Laura. It's my show, though. We're going to lose minds once in a while.
I'm sorry, Laura.
Get off track. So, should we collect ourselves?
There's a devil in the sheets, and his name isn't R. Kelly, so we had to go with it.
Wow.
Huh?
All right. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more after this.
The devil went down to
Germany.
Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind because he was way behind and he was willing to make a deal. When he came across this young man sawing on a fiddle and playing it hot, and the devil jumped up on a hickory stump and said, "Boy, let me tell you what. I guess you didn't know it, but I'm a fiddle player too. And if you'd care to take a dare, I'll make a bet with you. Now you play pretty good fiddle, boy, but give the devil his due. I bet a fiddle of gold against your soul because I think I'm better than you." The boy said, "My name's Johnny, and it might be a sin, but I'll take your bet and you're going to regret because I'm the best as ever been." Johnny, you're awesome.
All right, now help me out with this song, Tim. I love this song. Who doesn't love this song? Only Commie Pinko, redneck, hillbilly. No, they do. They love this stuff.
Yeah,
right?
the
Commie
hillbillies love it,
Pinkos
yeah.
don't, though.
Right.
But here's where it loses me. Okay, the devil challenges Johnny.
Right.
Because the devil thinks he's a pretty badass fiddle player.
Yeah.
The devil opened up his case and he said, "I'll start this show."
Fair enough.
Fire flew from his fingertips as he rolled.
Kind of showboaty, all right.
And he pulled the bow across the strings and it made an evil hiss.
Here's
And
Flair.
The demons joined in and it sounded something like this.
Wait, is this a fiddle contest or an electric guitar contest, devil?
Could be electric fiddle.
Son of a bitch.
Could be electric fiddle.
This is why the devil is afraid of sheets. Egyptian cotton sheets. Because he just realizes he can't. Oh, here comes his big shot. Yeah, real good, devil. He doesn't even add lyrics.
No.
How's he going to win? He lets the demons jam on their guitar and he just comes in with a. He really thought that was the winning move right there.
I guess.
When the devil finished, Johnny said,
Well, you're pretty good, old son.
But sit down in that chair right there and let me show you how
Now
it's
listen.
done. Fire on the mountain, run, boys, run.
Little change up.
The devil's in the house of the rising sun.
He's throwing in lyrics.
I see.
He's breaking it down Eminem style on him.
I bet.
He's going 8 Mile on the devil, Tim.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want none of this, son. Spaghetti, spaghetti.
See, nobody wants to see this on camera, Eric, me doing the head bob.
Nope, nobody wants it.
Unless I'm doing it as Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Then you're going to have babies being conceived everywhere.
When Johnny finished, the devil said...
Even in Germany.
The devil bowed his head because he knew that he'd been
The devil
beat.
bowed his head because he knew that he'd been beat.
So he laid that golden fiddle on the ground at Melanie Griffith's feet.
Johnny said, "Devil, just come on back if you ever want to try again. I done told you once, you son of a bitch."
What the? Do you remember how scandalous that was as a child? When
I
they'd
know.
accidentally play that on the radio? You're like, oh, they didn't do the son of a gun version. They did the son of a bee version. Whoa.
No longer AC/DC, it's the Charles Daniels band.
Charles Daniels.
Wow.
From England?
I guess.
It's the, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wembley Stadium, where we will now be entranced by the musical stylings of one Charles Daniels and his band.
Somebody get Mr. Daniels some Jack Daniels for his
You see,
tea.
the devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal, Tim. He was way
Trying to
behind.
class it up a little bit.
Were you?
Yeah.
Gonna have to work
Mr.
harder.
Charles.
The Charles,
Mr. Charles
Daniels,
Daniels band.
Would you be
So, tell me about your band, Charles. Is Snoopy and Pigpen part of it?
That's quite the
God.
guitar you have there.
You know, my problem is we come off a huge show like Coast to Coast AM, right? 15 billion listeners. I don't know if you know that, Tim. 15 billion listeners. And then they think, all right, I'm going to try this Schrader kid out.
and
I'm going
this
to go
is
listen
the-
to Darkness Radio, and this is what they
This
get.
is the one they tune into.
The Charles Daniels Band.
Yeah.
Yes. And then after that, we'll have our own English band, Acdic, coming up on stage to sing a little Highway to Hell.
I love me some Acdic.
Who doesn't? Put that on the button bar.
I know. That one's going on the button bar, too. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're going to get back to the story, Laura. So
yes. Yeah.
Eloquently.
Quite.
In the immortal words of one Charles Daniels, Tim. Shall we return to the story?
Right.
Right. And this guy wants to work with us, and he just can't take the abuse, Tim.
Yeah, I know.
He's over here chained. I've seen more shades of red.
He's
just
over
grab
there.
the microphone, swing it around. We're on air. It doesn't matter.
Hit it like a speed bag.
Yeah.
You know, he's over there cowering under the sheets like the devil's sitting next to him.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
All I needed was
you doing,
a
buddy?
fiddle,
I'm
not
happy
cheese.
that I'm here for you.
You tell him, Shaquanda.
Yeah. It's all you.
It's Tamika.
Tamika. Come on, Tim. Get it straight.
I know. I'm sorry. Ed.
All right. Here's the second story.
Right.
As told to us by Laura.
Oh, come
The
on.
second time was back in 2013, Tim. Not exactly a feminine voice for Laura's character, but
No.
I'd come to America to visit a friend I'd met on Twitter. Long story. It was the first time we were ever meeting face to face, and I was staying for a month over the Halloween period. She had warned me that her house was somewhat haunted, her mother being the latest to pass on within the building. So I just chalked it up to being similar to my childhood home. In the end, it was both better and worse, but the things we experienced in that house is a whole other essay, so maybe later. What the son of a...
Isn't essay Spanish?
Essay. We'll do it next time, my friend.
Right.
I arrived in the middle of October, and weird things started straight away. That was more of kind of a British...
Oh, sorry. Pardon me. My mistake.
The experience happened about a week into it. My friend had a dog, a small Chihuahua, Tim, that I'd grown accustomed to sleeping with on my bed.
Hey, now.
The night my friend asked if she could have the dog as creepy noises had been keeping her up the night before.
Sure.
It being her dog in her house, I, of course, said yes.
Yeah.
Maybe the creepy noises was your house guest with your Chihuahua in the other room.
Could have been.
You're scratching them little Chihuahuas. They make a lot of squeaky noises.
Get
too.
off of Fluffy.
Big mistake, she says. I awoke, lying half on my side, to a shadow figure bent over me. Hey now. Must have been close to 7 feet and looked like it had a black sheet draped over it. So I could only really see the outline of its head and shoulders. My body felt heavy, the same heaviness you get when you're just about to drop off to sleep and you have a pile of blankets on top of you. Weirdly, there was a line of pressure running across my shoulders like someone or something was pressing down on them so I wouldn't sit up. Huh? I thought. Huh? I mean, I would have been scared, but it really reminded of my granddad. So it was hard to work up any hysteria. All right. This is where the story just jumped tracks for me.
Yeah. Your dad was a 7-foot shadow
We've had
figure?
too many true crime Tuesdays here. Or Grandpa would just come into your room and hold you down in the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
This might be part of the story you wanted to leave out.
Yeah.
It was a little easier. I thought it was kind of a hysteria. It was a little easier when I realized that there was something pressing against my back under the covers. Again, maybe not a good idea to have connected that with your grandpa.
Whoa!
I'm just saying.
No, I know.
Reread what you're going to send to me,
right.
because we're reading this to tens of people across the entire world. Tens of people
And they all think
are
like we
thinking
do.
just like us. They're like, wait, what?
Right in your back, eh?
Right, it was a little easier when I realized that there was something pressing against my back under the covers. A line of heat from thigh to shoulder.
Oh, God.
I hadn't noticed it at first. I was used to the dog sleeping there, only this was about 3 times as big. Show off.
Is this a paranormal story?
I don't know. Shh, lock it in. Just think about it, Eric. I was just working up the energy to fight against the pressure on my shoulders so I could peel back the blankets to see what was in bed with me when the shadow figure said, "Don't worry, it's just the dog." Wait. Did you hear it? Shh. The shadow figure said, "Don't worry, it's just the dog." And I got the impression he was talking about a poodle. What the hell? Is she freebasing while writing this story?
Is this like a Harlequin romance for
First
dogs?
of all, if you feel something pressing you down, this isn't so bad. It's like when Grandpa used to do it. Oh, no, I'm feeling something hard against my back and thigh. Could it be a Chihuahua? No, it's 3 times the size. Don't worry, it's the dog. Thank you, everybody. Tip your waiters and waitresses.
Oh, my God.
And then she gets the impression he was talking about a poodle. That's a
big poodle.
Yeah, it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. It was an older man's voice with a southern Midwestern drawl, not unlike Mr. Charles Daniels and his band.
Yes, quite.
The sort of voice I would expect from a cowboy.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Not the accent I would have expected if it really was my granddad. We're still on the granddad kick. Is anybody else icked out by this theory?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Awkward.
Okay, I thought, and having had my curiosity sated as to what was in bed with me, I went back to sleep. When I woke up a few hours later, I was a little concerned with how complacent I am when I'm sleeping.
Does she have an address?
I don't know. You're going to show up in a black sheet and try to cuddle?
It seems to work out.
I guess. But mostly I was weirded out. I went to talk to my friend who was still up and cleaning, scaring her when I stood in a dark doorway waiting for her to notice me. I was still sleepy with jet lag and told her at this time I was still leaning towards a dream or night paralysis or terror, but she told me that it sounded like her grandfather who had died several years previous and whose favorite dog had been my friend's poodle, who had died at a similar time. I think I experienced night paralysis the second time, but I also felt safe, which was comforting when things started to pick up and get creepier in that house. Anyway, thanks for reading this, and sorry about the length. I would be curious as to your thoughts on these experiences. I think I've been pretty clear about them, especially the first one. That was the only time I've ever seen a shadow figure with its own shadow. I hope you're all well, and congratulations on the recent anniversary. Keep up the good work, and maybe, if you're interested, I can share other experiences I've had over the years. Yours, Laura. I'm willing to bet she will never share another story with us. I understand now that I've read this.
If she could call me and share them with me directly, I'd appreciate that.
I think what she was referring to is she was getting that vibe, that it wasn't a creepy vibe. It was almost like a grandfatherly vibe, and that's why she equated it to the fact that the next day her friend said, oh, that's probably my grandfather. So she was just picking up on that vibe. I don't think she just wrote it incorrectly at first.
See, it was purely innocent.
Yeah, all right. I got that, but it's still uncomfortable. Yeah.
Innocent.
So I woke up and I felt something pushing me to the bed, holding me down, much like my grandfather would. Yes! All right.
Dear Penthouse Forum.
I never thought I'd be writing this. Let's take a break. We'll come back. And a shadow person with a shadow? I don't think it was a shadow person then. I think what you were dealing with was something else. Maybe it was, I don't know, maybe the shadow people were there. Maybe this was a being unto itself, and that's why there was dimension. But this is the death dealer thing, the reaver that was hanging out over her bed. Creepy. Either way, this chick goes to bed way too easily. Am I wrong?
No.
Because first of all, if I see death hanging out in my room, I don't just roll over. And second of all, if I feel a poodle against my thigh and butt, and the old man's voice goes, don't worry, it's just a dog. Oh, Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard to get her poor dog a bone. But when she bent over, we'll be back with more Darkness Radio right after this.
Tell me about the good old days. Sometimes it feels like this world's gone crazy. Grandpa, take me back to yesterday, when the line between right and wrong didn't seem so hazy.
The line between right and wrong didn't seem so hazy.
Stand beside each other.
Oh, Grandpa.
just a dog.
Daddy's really proud. Daddy's really never gone. Tell me about the good old days.
Sometimes the good old days weren't always good, and tomorrow ain't as bad as it seems. I believe Mr. William Joel told us that little tidbit from the 80s, Tim. That's right. I believe he opened up the Charles Daniels Band at one point. I believe he did. Oh, God. Come on, boy. Come on. Oh.
Everything has changed.
It certainly is.
We call it progress. Just don't
I picked a bad week to stop sniffing glue, Tim.
Yep.
wander back into the past. Then paint me the picture.
Oh, you painted a picture, all right, darling. It's just a dog.
Lovers really fall in love to stay. Stand beside each other.
Oh, no.
Promise really
Sorry, boy.
Wow, that one was a little harsh.
Passing an acorn.
Yes.
Pine cone bits.
Family's really bound.
Oh, God.
Oh, my.
Daddy's really
Oh, wow.
You sounded curious.
I guess.
oh, Grandpa, tell me about the good old days.
Goodness.
Oh, all right.
Oh, no. Oh, it hurts. All right. Well, thanks to the judge. We're out of time, folks. We're going to take a break, collect ourselves, a few deep breaths. We'll be back. We'll be back after the next break, and we've got more ParaShare stories to share. It's going to be hard to top that one. I think we should just silence for the next hour. It's the only way. All right. It's just a dog. Good night, everybody. We'll be back in about 5 minutes after we get a breath of fresh air. You're listening to what was once the best in paranormal talk radio. That's gone out the window. Stay tuned. More Darkness Radio continues right after this.
As an organ donor, your story doesn't have to end. The good in you can live on. In fact, you could save up to 8 lives and restore sight and health for many more. Sign up right now online as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. You'll be happy you did. And just maybe, someone else will be happy too. Go to organdonor.gov. It saves lives. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Welcome back to the show. What a wild ride hour 2 was.
It was fun. I'll never look at grandparents the same again.
My
but it was
stomach
fun.
and my sides hurt so bad right now. You have no idea. Oh, my head's just throbbing, dude. You know, you need a good laugh every now and again.
You do, yeah.
You know, I don't know how many people out there were laughing with us. It was pretty damn funny right here in the studio.
It was, yeah.
What were those brownies you brought in again, Eric? They were delicious.
Different.
They tasted like a mouthful of sand when I started, but they're delicious
They're
now.
a little earthy.
It does kind of grow on you a little bit.
Yeah. Literally. All right. It is a ParaShare Monday. What does that mean?
Sorry.
What the heck?
Okay, rookie.
I'm still learning.
What does ParaShare Monday mean? Well, it's a night for you to shine, world. You can call in and share your stories. I'm sure everybody's terrified to think about calling in now. Now, in studio with us, Eric and his wife, Shanae. And they are here because they have proposed him. They have a business, and they stream shows.
Right.
They do this kind of thing, and they want to stream Darkness Radio. I don't know why after that last segment.
I don't know either.
Are you still on board with that idea?
I think that last segment is exactly why we want to share this with the world.
Just watching two fat guys laugh hysterically at themselves and how funny we think we are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's that kind of thing that I for one reason or another, for better or for worse, I look at things through what would I like to watch or what would I like to do, and Darkness Radio, having heard the show, been a fan, listened to it for years, have kids that love the show.
Oh God, your kids listen to this?
So yeah, I've been texted.
Okay.
For me, it reinforces, I think, the reason why I think folks would really enjoy watching kind of what happens behind the scenes.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know. You can email me, dave@darknessradio.com. What do you think? Should we start allowing cameras in here, at least on Friday nights? Let us know what your thoughts are. Do you want to see a video camera in here on Friday nights so you can witness the party that is Darkness Radio?
If anything, it's a good excuse for you guys to bathe and wear clean clothes.
Oh, God.
Right?
Already, you got me out.
Yeah. Probably should have waited to say that.
Why don't we do this? We'll give this a test run, not this Friday, but the following Friday.
Sure.
Does that sound all right with you, Tim? So in 2
What
weeks.
is it? Oh, that's yeah.
Not this week. Not this Friday.
16th.
Gives you 2 weeks to prepare.
Is it the 16th?
Yeah.
Am I in town? No, I'm going to be at the... I'm not going to be...
thing?
Here. I'm going to be at the thing.
That is the...
I'm going to be at the thing doing the thing.
That is the thing of the thing.
Yeah. Boy,
23rd.
No, then I host Coast to Coast afterwards. Maybe we should do this off air and make it less boring for the rest of the world.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe we should aim for the... No, not going to be here. Yeah, the 30th. Why don't we do the 30th? We'll do the 30th of January. Friday the 30th.
Great.
Yeah. We'll figure something out and do a little test run of it at that point. Tonight, though, we are attempting to get through ParaShare. And that means you share your stories. You can email them in, dave@darknessradio.com. Although, after what we did to the last...
No one will ever email it.
I don't know.
It's just the way it was put together.
Was it weird that song fit perfectly from the minute we came back on until the minute?
It did, yeah.
We got a call. Holy crap.
Oh,
we got
a call. Hold on.
Let's take calls. I'm going to read some more stories because that's what I like to do on a ParaShare Monday. Reading some stories. This one, 9th anniversary, 10th time slip. It says, Dearest Dave, Tim, and Mally, Happy New Year. I just got done listening to your anniversary show and I had to write to you. You were asking people how long they've been a part of the Army of Darkness, and I was amazed at the length of time that has been reported. I, however, have been your devoted fan since July 16th, 2005. Do you see a problem with that, Tim? Because I see a problem with that. We didn't go on the air.
I see a huge problem.
What do you think that problem is?
We didn't start till 2006.
January 1st, 2006.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the time slip here. Let's get to the rest of it.
Okay.
10 years, Dave. Now, I know that by all accounts should not be, but I can, in fact, remember 3 distinct interviews with Dan Aykroyd. There's only been 2.
Right. There's only
the first
been 2.
one being that he and his father were both talking with you and Tim about UFOs and time and space continuum, metaphysics, and the like. Actually, that was David Sarita.
That was David Sarita.
And Dan Aykroyd talking about their DVD, Dan Aykroyd Unplugged.
I have never been involved in an interview with Dan and his father.
No, that took place a few years ago.
Right.
Yeah. But let's keep going. Let's see. I could hear his fireplace popping with wood in the background. All very simple. I still to this day say you have been on the air for 10 years, and I happened upon your website via Planet Paranormal. I can remember many shows, and I cannot account for whereabouts for them or the podcasts. So let me just be frank and say, please have that third interview with Dan. There must be something out there, and let me go back to my sanity for at least my memory, LOL. I love you all and thank you for the outlet for the reality of the unknown that is a reality. And I guess thank you for the extra podcasts that never were. Your devoted soldier, merry we meet, merry we part. You all are forever in my heart. That comes to us from Sandy. It was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
Beautiful. Do we have we have somebody weighing in on the video?
Yeah.
All right. Ryan, North St. Paul, welcome to the show. What did you want to share with us?
Hi, Dad.
Hey. Well, I got nervous there. I have so many kids. I thought it was one of mine. I was like, oh, crap.
There's number 8 out there somewhere.
I don't remember Orion, but hi, son. Daddy loves you. Ryan, I'm guessing that you're Erik's son.
I don't know who this child is.
No?
No.
Shakisha.
Shakisha.
Shakisha. Don't hit a Shakisha. All right. So, well, I don't think it's fair that you weigh in, Ryan. Yeah. Your dad's trying to sell us on this idea, so obviously, porridge needs to be put in the pots at your home. So, what do you think? Do you want to see? Do you want to see Darkness Radio video live on Friday nights?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Just for you, Ryan. We're going to do it on January.
Video, you can only imagine what it's going to look like on video.
Oh no, that's
oh god,
that's where we go horribly off track.
Not a selling point, Ryan.
Yeah.
He just wants this done so he can come in and meet you guys. And
is that it? He can come in
show.
Anyway.
Yeah. We got to get him down here.
Yeah, just get him shots first.
Yeah.
All right.
We try.
Ryan, thanks a lot for calling in, and don't ever call me Dad again. That was unnerving. Hi, Dad. Oh, crap. I'm running through the mind. Who do I know that had a kid named Ryan? Why am I being surprised with this on air? I swear to God, that's what happened to me. I was like, hi. Oh, poop.
Maury Povich is out in the hallway.
Dave Schrader. Ryan is your son. Son of a biscuit.
And here you got all excited about a phone call.
I know.
Dang.
I was too.
If I have any other illegitimate children out there, give Daddy a call. We want to hear your stories. Hi, Dave and Tim. Just wanted to say hi from the great state of Tejas.
Hi.
That's Texas if you speak Canadian fluently.
It is.
Been a long-time fan, but only get to catch you over podcast. Wanted to share my weird and paranormal life with you. Well, this is so sudden. I don't know if I should accept this proposal.
Well, I think you ought to go into it slowly, but then eventually just warm up
I accept, Mark Adams.
Jump in.
It began when my family moved to a new house next to a creek famous for a Civil War battle, Salado Creek. The entire time living there, we heard voices, footsteps, and crashing in the night with no physical evidence. We would see lights going on and off, figures walking through the halls, and headlights pulling up in the driveway. After doing some research, we found out a police officer lived in the house before us, but had died in the line of duty. When my ex-wife and I had to move in with our newborn, after some troubles, the activity got much worse. At one point, it sounded as if someone took a desk and smashed it to the floor 2 feet away from us, again with nothing out of place. We had a priest come over. He did a blessing. While doing the blessing, there was violent knocking on a china cabinet with no air or no ventilation. When he finished, it had calmed down again. Now, with my current wife, we believe the ghost of a little girl is following us house to house. When we first got together, we lived in a trailer. Not sure if you know, but I'm sure some of your listeners can attest that when you walk in these mobile homes, you have a distinct noise. Well, while making lunch for my girls, my current wife and I heard a child giggle and run down the hallway. I turned to scold them for not staying at the table. I saw they were both still sitting there. And it seems anywhere we live, we hear the laughter of a little girl. At least she's happy, right? Well, it seems on place we lived, in the place we lived, she was not. We moved into an apartment where there was a small closet under the stairs. My wife had a reoccurring nightmare about a dead little girl screaming to get out of the closet or trying to put my wife in. We moved shortly after that. Even now, we have things moving. We hear the little girl laughing or see full-grown apparitions move through doorways. Like another listener, I've had the experience of what feels like an animal getting in bed with me, and nothing is there. Full gallons of water fly from the middle of the counter, heavy breathing with no one in the room, and a toy baby stroller being pushed across the floor, upside down. I have many more experiences to tell, so let me know if you'd like to hear them. Tell Tim he is constantly in my nightly good vibe thoughts, and hope he is taking care of his diabetes. Much love and respect, Mark G.
Oh, thanks, Mark.
That's very nice of him. My computer just froze up again, Tim.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Oh, it's that time of night.
It is. Mm-hmm. Hey, Dave, Tim, and possibly Mally. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten any supernatural stories of worth to share, but really wanted to drop you a line about how great the application is. I now listen to you every night, albeit a day or two late, but that's a small price to pay. And the 2 days you're not on, I catch up on the archives. Awesome show, guys. And between you and Coast to Coast, I spend less time watching TV and more time listening to your shows and broadening my mind. Thank you from South Wales in the United Kingdom, home of the Charles Daniels Band.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm glad you listen over there. Thank you. Such compliments.
That was a very nice email.
Yes. Dear the dynamic duo, the voice in the darkness, Dave Schrader, and Timmy TD Touchdown Dennis.
Wow.
And that ring girl, the malicious minx, Mally Fox.
The malicious minx. That sounds like a wrestling name.
I gave you wrestling names just for fun, Tim.
Oh, good.
I have written you in the past about my son who saw an imaginary friend named Karata, which you read on the air, as well as some lyrics for Mittens the stool-pushing cat.
Yes! Finally!
Yes. I've been meaning to write you again for some time about an experience I had when I was a young teenager, but have been putting it off until now. I just finished listening to your New Year's ParaShare show. At the end, you talked about the story, the one where you mentioned someone's name and then found out she didn't want you to say her name. Well, a woman saw a blue light leading up to an encounter. Pair this with the theory that bunk beds are a gate to some other darker universe, and I couldn't hold back on the story any longer. Sharkeisha and Eric look confused by that story.
Well, I bet,
I believe a lot of our stories have to do with kids, and they all have bunk beds. I think it's in the formation of the bunk beds by IKEA that opens the portal.
Right. They're evil.
Yeah.
Well, that's the reason our look is perplexed here is because one of the kid that just called in.
He has a name.
You know,
it's Ryan.
Your kid, Ryan.
Wait a minute, Sharkeisha.
I'm psychic here.
Okay.
I know he had a bunk bed at one time.
Okay.
And I know he felt that thing move all the time, and there was nothing around that should have been moving that thing.
That and all evil things come from IKEA.
That is true.
Unless they'd like to sponsor the show.
No. And then you can contact our live stream.
But see, he just covered up with sheets and it all went away.
Is that what it was?
I taught him that.
Magic.
All right.
Magical sheets.
It was summer, and I was 14 or so and had a friend named Justin over for a sleepover. Don't mention his name. Just kidding.
Oh, whoops.
Well played. Well played. We were staying out in what we called the clubhouse. My dad had built it out in the back lawn. When we had bought the house, there was a dilapidated little shed out there, but he knocked it down. We built the clubhouse on that site because there were already an underground wire run from the house, so we had electric out there. It was a cool place, and it was where it's where me and friends usually stayed when they came over to spend the night. We had a Nintendo hooked to a TV you had to turn on with a screwdriver, usually getting electrocuted in the process. There was a radio, a box fan, an entertainment center that sagged in the center and was supported by Jenga blocks and a screwdriver. You know, the essentials. Well, that's better than our first apartment together, Tim.
Boy, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Built into the wall opposite the door were a set of bunk beds.
Uh-oh.
Bunk beds, Tim.
Dun, dun, dun!
They were actually just pieces of plywood supported by 2x4s and covered over with remnant black carpet. But with a sleeping bag, they worked just fine at keeping us off the floor. After a normal day of doing whatever it was we were doing, likely swimming in one of those little above-ground pools, Justin and I went to our clubhouse. Like usual, we played some Nintendo or watched a VHS tape until we got tired and decided to go to bed, or to black carpeted plywood. Justin was on top and I was on the bottom. That's the way I liked it. Nice. Feel free to insert inappropriate reference here. Yes! He puts right into the email.
Very good.
No, it's okay. I'll wait. That's what he puts in the email as well. We talked for a while, but the conversation started to lull, and we both started to fall asleep. Just as I was drifting off, my eyes still intermittently opened, and looking around at the mostly dark of the room, I saw a flash of light at the window near my feet. It looked about like if someone was shining a decent-sized mag light in the window, turning it off and on a few times. Most mag lights in my days still had that incandescent bulbs, which showed yellow, but this showed blue like some of the newer bulbs do. As you might be able to tell by the wordiness of the previous portions of this email, I am rarely at a loss for words. So instead, I was just sort of at a loss for useful, coherent words. Justin, I said. Huh? He said sleepily. You can't tell me that isn't some sort of blinking light. I'm reading it that way because there's all these pause spots in there.
Nice.
What?
We call them ellipses.
What? Where? From where he was laying above me, it was difficult to see that window because it was so low in the bunk bed and his legs and feet would have been in the way. Sit up, I said. It's just a dog. No, sorry. Sit up, I said. The light continued to blink on and off, on and off, on and off. And look down at that window that's straight in front of you. After a moment, he did so and muttered something teenagers often say, but radio hosts outside of Safe Harbor do not.
Ah.
And then came crashing down off the top bunk onto the floor. As he scrambled to get up, he punched me in the face.
Whoops.
Being a good friend and scared out of my mind, I slugged him back.
Good.
I was sitting up in my bed at this point as well, and Justin climbed up too, wedging himself between me and the wall so that I would be between him and the light at the window. Again, being a good friend. The light was gone. Why do I feel this is about to turn into a Dear Penthouse? I never thought I'd be writing.
2 in one night.
Uh-huh. The light was gone. We talked about it for a bit, not wanting to go back to sleep. But our eyes twinkled in the light glow, and we began to kiss. As only men can do. No, that's not part of the story.
Oh, okay.
After a few minutes, I got up and turned on the light. We grabbed our cheap Pakistan-made pocket knives and sat there, discussing what it might have been. Justin had an older brother who, at the time, liked torturing him. I asked if it might have been his brother shining a light in the window, but Justin assured me his brother was out of town. I think at a wrestling tournament or something. Maybe it was just something outside the window, we thought. Maybe we could explain it away. Until it came back. It shined all over the clubhouse. It shined on the ceiling and the floor and on every wall. It was late by this point, likely around 2 a.m, so I thought maybe my eyes were playing tricks on me. Because now it was faint, like it was bleeding through the wood of the walls. But it appeared about the size of a $50 on the wall behind my bed, right between Justin and myself, and then disappeared. Did you see it right here? I asked him, touching the wall. He just nodded. We decided we were not going to go back to sleep that night. We held onto our knives and played a few games of cards and Mad Libs. Yeah, because nothing gets rid of the evil, dark beings that hang out outside a fort like Mad Libs.
Right.
And sheets.
I need an adverb. What the hell's an adverb? I hated Mad Libs. Did you guys ever play Mad Libs when you were teens? If so, you know what teenage boy Mad Libs games end up sounding like. So we were laughing, and it helped us forget about what was going on and keep us awake. But after maybe an hour and a half, we were tired of playing games, and were just talking. Justin fell asleep, nestled to my chest. I'm sorry. No.
God, really?
Justin fell asleep up against the wall in the corner. Sleep with one eye open, clutching your pillow tight. Away from that window, of course. But I was determined not to. All my life, I've been able to will myself to stay awake, especially when I was a kid before catching mono in my later teen years. I didn't fall asleep reading or watching movies. I still don't. I have to be very particular about intending to sleep, to fall asleep. So that night, I had no intention of intending to sleep. It's very deep. So I sat there at the foot of the bunk bed facing the door, my little pocket knife in front of me on a rung of the ladder, which was a 2x4 that led to the top bunk. And I watched. There was a tiny window to my right of the door. It took it to look in from outside. You would have to stand about 6 foot tall or so because it was higher than the larger windows in the little house. From right to left, across that window, came the light again, maybe 6 inches above the bottom of the window. It was back to being about the size of a mag light beam, blue and solid. Not flashing, it drifted across the window at just the right height for me to see it, like it was heading towards the door. If my eyes had kept following it, I would have expected to see it through the door. Since we only had a storm door on the clubhouse and most of it was a window, nothing that lock anything that wanted to get in out. But my eyes didn't keep following it. Instead of feeling terrified, something strange happened. It was like something controlled my mind for a minute, and I began to hold the pillow across my friend's face. No, that's not. I just added that part in. It told me, there it is. It's leaving. Everything is okay now. Go to sleep. It's just the dog. I've never been hypnotized before, but that is what I imagine it was like. And before I could see if the blue light appeared at the door, I was asleep, leaning on the wall at the foot of the bed, all the way through till morning. The next day, it felt as if I didn't sleep at all. I don't remember being stiff from being slumped against the wall behind the ladder of the bunk bed. Maybe I wasn't there. Maybe we just woke up there after being somewhere else. I'll never know what happened. Why, after seeing the light, I didn't freak out and wake up my friend. Why then, of all times, I fell asleep. Dead asleep. Not drifting off, but falling hard asleep. Or why my friend and I woke up at the same time. Neither of us remembering waking the other and bolting straight for the house. I do know that Justin told me he would never stay out there again, and in a few more years of friendship, we never did. He always asked if we could sleep in the basement after that. I still slept out there a few times with other friends, and I never experienced anything really out of the ordinary again. Thanks for taking the time to share my story. I know it was a bit lengthy. I love the show, guys. I don't have too many other paranormal stories to talk about, but I've maybe got one or two left I can tease you with for the future. Keep on doing the Fun Friday news shows, True Crime Tuesdays, and Monday ParaShare. I've never been so excited for football season to end. Part of that is because I love listening to you guys, and the other part is I'm a Giants fan. Tell Tim he needs to tell the story of how he made it through a weekend in maximum security prison.
That's how I made it through.
Yeah, Will, father in the chat room, on the rare occasion I am listening live instead of by podcast. Good day, Will Mayer. Do you think I don't know. It sounds like two young boys cuddled together in a bed might have blocked things out on purpose. Is it any kind of weird coincidence that they kept seeing blue balls of light?
Was it cold?
I'm just saying.
I was waiting for you to say they woke up together in each other's arms. I was hoping you would add that in.
No, I think that's the part they're trying to not remember.
You think so?
Yeah, but I do think it's strange that his friend only wanted to go to the basement from now on.
Because basements are much better.
Yeah. Kiss my ass! What? Huh? Good evening, Darkness Gang. That's how the next email starts off. But to hear the rest, you'll have to wait. I got a really nice email. You know, as I sit here and we laugh and cackle like morons, right?
Sure.
And you just wonder, I mean, literally around the world, there at any time are tens of people listening to the show, Tim.
There could even be 15, Dave.
15s maybe of people.
Right.
Listening to the show. And I wonder, all that laughing and shenanigans, are we doing, is that too much? Is that maybe just too stupid? People, maybe they just want their stories straight up, hardcore
There
paranormal.
could be people in libraries trying to study.
But I got this email.
Okay.
Dave, I have several health issues, including moderate depression. Most recently, I'm dealing with Bell's palsy. The right side of my face is paralyzed. I haven't had any reason to smile, let alone laugh, for quite some time. It's just the dog has made me laugh so hard I was crying. Hurt my sides. I couldn't stop. Thank you. P.S. I'd love to watch a live video cast of your show.
Awesome.
There you go.
Yeah. So, well, and that comes from Dave, who's listening to the show. So all of our listeners around the world that are tuning in right now, keep Dave in your in your thoughts and prayers to help him beat this moderate depression and to have this Bell's palsy heal up. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers. But David, thank you very much for listening. I'm glad in any way we could bring some kind of laughter into your life. And remember, don't be defined by the depression, buddy.
Right.
It all passes and it'll get better. I promise you. We've all got ugly stories in our lives, and you just need to, keep fighting the good fight, brother. And if you need something, just write to us. Good evening, Darkness Gang. I'd like to remain anonymous. I've sent a few experiences, and they were read on air. I wanted to say thank you for being the best paranormal talk radio. I became a huge fan last year and listen to your podcasts as much as possible. I have a few more experiences for you. I work at a resort that has about 6 ballrooms. At least 3 of them are haunted. By haunted, I mean there are certain presences in each room, but I don't think they're all ghosts. I've only had experiences in 2, but have heard many testimonies about our ski hill. I'm a swing supervisor, which means I have no set schedule. I'll work one first shift one day, only to work a third shift the next. We use long-range radios to communicate with one another. My first experience is one that continues to this day. I was in our largest ballroom by myself at the end of my shift around 10 p.m. when I heard 3 people arguing just outside of the doors in the foyer. I walked out the door to hear what the argument had been about, and it had been moved to the coat check room in the foyer. While investigating, I found no one around. There was only one way in and out of the coat check room. As I brushed it off and started working back in the ballroom, my radio started to static. In the static, I heard a little kid's voice and crying. Since that day, whenever I'm down there alone, and in one case with another person, my radio will static, and I will hear one of 3 distinct voices saying something. Shh, it's just a dog.
You looked at me and I knew it was coming.
That's what she said. My second experience was in our second largest ballroom. Well, he's got big balls, Tim.
And
I don't see big balls.
Lots of balls.
Yeah, and they're such big balls.
We've got the biggest ballroom of them all. This ballroom has 6 mirrors, 3 on each. Oh, I want to suddenly go into Dr. Seussian rhyme. This ballroom has 6 mirrors, 3 on the east wall and 3 on the west. During one of my overnight shifts, I have to say that word carefully.
Yes, sir.
I was locking up the rooms before going home. The light controls are along the south wall, and the doors to exit at night are on the north. After I turned off the lights and headed towards the exit, I glanced in one of the mirrors and saw a large, blacker-than-black male figure behind me. 'Cause I'm back, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. Wasn't that a little Chris Rock song? From CB40 or something like
CB4.
that? 4. Yeah. You took me to that movie.
I did.
Remember that time?
I did. I remember that time.
Do you remember when?
I do.
I thought that was Run DMC.
Bring it up.
No.
Fond,
CB4. That was,
CB4.
Was it Chris Rock was singing it, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. Oh. Wow. Albert. Do you remember he's playing the character Albert?
Yeah. That's who I don't remember his name. Come on.
I know.
All right. He was a blacker-than-black male figure behind me. He seemed to just lurk. He was about 6'7". I'm 6'1", average build. I thought it was just a trick of the eyes. There are exit signs at each of the 6 pairs of doors, so I chalked it up to my eyes, playing tricks with the lights. Maybe that was my shadow cast on a wall, or the void where the exit sign lights missed. Anything to make the goosebumps go away. As I reached the exit, I looked in the mirror again and saw the same figure about 3 feet behind me. I just pooped my pants.
Just now? I mean, do you need anything?
That's what it says in the story.
I think we can get you a wet wipe.
I acknowledged him and declared he could not follow me anymore. Well, that's one way to keep a ghost from following you. You don't want to be back here, man. I pooped in my pants. So back off, Spectre. Ghost is like, I'm going to eat yourself. What the hell? Come on. What are you, an animal?
I've used that one.
You poop to get a ghost away from you?
Yeah.
So it's effective.
They hang out in bathrooms, Tim. Don't you remember? I don't know if ghosts are going to be freaked out by a male pooping himself.
If it works for a Florida Gators running back, it works for me.
Is that what you do?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I acknowledged him and declared he could not follow me anymore. I have enough guests in my house, living and non, and I haven't seen him since. Well, of course not. You pooped your pants. This last paragraph is all hearsay and not my own experience, but these events have happened to many people, and I'm trying to find out who to talk to about going on a ghost hunt on the ski hill to debunk or confirm any of these. There have been many casualties on our ski hill, or so I hear. On a few occasions, our security guards go down there to make sure it's locked and secure, especially during the off-season. In one case, a red balloon had followed one guard during his whole tour. He described it as being held by a child, floating about 2 feet off the ground, and stayed around 4 to 6 feet behind him at all times. Another guard had to use the facilities as he was checking the hill. As he was in there, he heard little kids laughing and playing in the restroom, along with small footfalls. He ran out as quickly as he could and refused to go back. Thank you for everything you do. All I do is really read stories, but you're welcome. I hope you have a happy, healthy lives and hope to be able to share more later. I'm sorry it's a bit lengthy. Sincerely, a dedicated fan.
I want somebody to write the 10-page email and go, I'm not sorry for being lengthy.
Yeah. Here's the deal. Do the research yourself before you call somebody in there. You can find out easy enough if people died. Just start Googling the name of your ski hill and death and see if anything pops up. That would be my first line of defense.
And after watching some of the shows I've been watching, I will always do that if I buy a new house.
Do you? Well, you can go to
now.
You can go to diedinhouse.com. They're
yes.
one of our online advertisers.
I remember hearing that on your show.
And type in your address, and they'll let you know if anybody is known to have died in that house.
Our house is over 100 years old.
Really?
Check that out.
Doesn't mean that it's necessarily haunted, though.
No. Just by my kids.
It's just spooky at times.
Spooky. Hi, Dave, Tim, and Mally. I've been listening to Darkness Radio podcasts since around 2010. I'm a big fan of ParaShare. 2015 is here, and it feels like a good time to finally send in some of my Dutch stories.
Dutch ovens?
Since I was very young, I've always been interested in the paranormal, in particular, humanoid sightings like elves.
Oh, boy. Here we go again, Tim.
So-called aliens and shadow people. However, apart from the one time I felt somebody or something sit down at the foot of my bed, don't worry, it was just a dog.
That's right.
There was, of course, nobody there. I've never seen or felt entities myself. I do have 2 other stories of the unexplained, rather weird ones, though. Number 1, when I was about 17 years old, about 8 years ago, I left my friend's house in the middle of the night to go home on my bicycle. I think it was around 2:30 a.m. We had probably been watching some movies. It's a very short ride of 5 minutes, and there are 2 routes to take. Most of the time, I take the route that goes along a bigger street. But this time, I took the other route through a neighborhood with houses. In the middle of the night, I'm almost home. One more corner to take and one more street to cross. But suddenly, something weird happens. Please deposit $2.99 for the remainder of the story.
Oh, hold on, I have change. It's not that kind of show. Credit cards.
In my perception, something fell straight out of the sky in a straight line.
Superman.
Right in front of my bike. Mm-hmm. I stopped. It was a spring water bottle, like Spa or Evian. I can't remember the brand. The way I remember it, the bottle was still sealed. I don't know if I picked it up or not.
I would have drank it.
It was the middle of the night. It was dark, and I was all alone, but didn't feel scared or anything. Well, you shouldn't have. Freaking bottle of water.
Yeah.
Come on.
It was a beer bottle, maybe.
This is the worst, scary beginning of a story I've ever heard. And then it was a bottle of Mr. Bubble.
It was Evian water too. At that, it was fancy water.
Fancy water.
It was a fancy ghost.
The ghost so fancy.
And then some fancy Ritz crackers and some fancy spray cheese fell. And we had a picnic.
It was the middle of the night. It was dark, and I was all alone, but didn't feel scared or anything. I stepped off my bike and just stood there, looking in every direction. Huh? On the left side of the small street were houses. On the right side, a small building used for elementary school gym classes. The gym building is a low building. I remember thinking that the bottle could have been thrown from there. The house on the left was a bit higher, but I could see no lights and no persons at the dark windows. I stood there silent for about 2 minutes, trying to solve this mystery. Who had thrown this water bottle at me? And why? Everything stayed dark and still. Also, it dawned on me that if somebody really threw this thing out of a window, the person should have thrown it up so high for it to have had to come down in such a straight line and right in front of the bike. It was almost impossible. Also, who would sit there waiting at a window in the middle of the night to pull a dumb prank like this? Me. I'd have done it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm kind of a jackass
Well,
like that.
aren't we all?
I'm sure nothing ever happens in that street, not in daylight, not in the middle of the night. Nobody would wait for that one person to ride through the street at 2:30 a.m. I stepped back on my bike, and the last thing I thought was that maybe it fell out of a plane or a helicopter. But then I would have heard it fly over, right? Anyway, it's a weird and actually a dumb story.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. But I still think of it every once in a while because I just don't know what happened that night. Maybe God was thinking, you are dehydrated. Have some water.
Yeah.
And not that cheap.
I don't know why my God's voice sounded so low. You look dehydrated. Have some water.
It's really hot out today.
Okay, here's the second story. God's an old Jew, is it?
Yes.
It's so hot. You look a bit parched. Would you like to come in for some lox and bagels? It's 2:30 in the morning. I can't sleep. The air conditioning's not working.
Have a bottle.
That's right. The second story is about the 1960s TV show Thunderbirds.
Oh, good.
And a kind of synchronicity. Do you guys remember this puppet series? When I was a little boy in the 90s, it was on TV again and very popular. Almost everyone I knew had Thunderbirds toys, the island, the vehicles. My love for this show has never stopped. Of course, it's pure nostalgia. But I also love how the sets and puppets look like people, look like the real world. But it's just a bit off. The element combined with the beautiful musical scores by composer Barry Gray that were made for his show makes it a magical world to return to every once in a while. Some of the music for the show was released on soundtrack albums, but there was still a lot of unreleased stuff. Casey, this is bits of the story we could do without.
Mm.
I mean, I'm not picking on you. You're
Right.
waxing beautifully.
Yeah.
You're eloquently written.
Right.
You've put in punctuation.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we call them in the street, Tim. Punctuation.
Punctuation.
And paragraphs.
Right.
But this part of the story probably not relevant.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
No.
the ghost starts playing the soundtrack later.
I'm thinking acid.
Pardon me?
Nothing.
Shh, it's just a dog.
It's just a dog.
The element combined beautifully with the musical scores. There's also an online forum where we discuss everything Thunderbirds, and of course, the unreleased music has also come up. I'm sure it has.
Oh my gosh. What's the name of that forum? I got to jot that down.
Uh-huh. It's 2009. I just joined the forum and was discussing a kind of bootleg CD somebody once sent me. It was a CD with 60 tracks on it.
Really?
Some of the music in crap quality and still unreleased. I started talking about the CD with one of the members on the forum, and to make a long, boring story short,
Okay.
too late, we came to the conclusion that I should send him the tracks to analyze.
Right.
We only had to get each other's emails, etc. A few days later, I'm at school, a Dutch art academy, where I was editing a short documentary on fishermen in Holland.
Interesting.
This guy leads a crazy life.
Where is this story going?
Thunderbirds, music scores, and fishermen in Holland.
Oh, my.
We had this big edit rooms with a lot of computers. Me and my buddy, a friend of mine, were looking for some kind of jazz tune to go with the nightly footage we shot, and I played him some of Barry Gray's jazzy Thunderbirds music. There was nobody in the room, so we could play it out loud without headphones. They're rebellious, these Dutch kids, Tim.
They are.
I know.
Throwing caution to the wind.
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
I wish I could do a Dutch accent. I don't know. How do you speak, and what's a Dutchanese?
Well, Mike Myers did one in
Yeah, I was just thinking
Goldfinger, but
Yeah, I can't think of a Dutch
Would
accent.
you like a pipe and a pancake?
smoking a pancake, bonging a blind.
Let's play this music out crazy, Tim. Then I hear somebody, a student I didn't know, walk in and say, "Hey, that's Barry Gray. Cool."
I love
God, it's just a pot of nerds, Tim.
Yeah, it is.
Pot of nerds. I turned around and was pleasantly surprised that someone my age knew who Barry Gray was. We talked a little bit about the music, then went back to our own business. When I turned my head around again a few minutes later, I see him logging in on that Thunderbirds forum, and I'm like, hey, I'm also on that forum. We're both big fans then. He asks me why my username is, and I tell him. His mouth falls wide open. Of course, Dave, this was the guy I had been chatting to online for the last week or so. This was the guy I had just met online, and the guy that was about to get the tracks from that bootleg CD. We were both in some kind of shock, but in a good way. Until then, we'd been talking to each other in English. The forum didn't display where the members were from, so we didn't know that both of us were Dutch. And he was not only Dutch, but also my age. And he was not only my age, but studying at the same academy as me. And the cherry on top, he walks into the room on that very moment that I play a Barry Gray tune. Never played Barry Gray at school before, never since. What are the odds? Obviously pretty good. Together, we sorted out some mysteries of the bootleg CD and got in touch with some people who had more unreleased recordings. Good. I'm happy. A big thanks to the Darkness crew. Keep up the good work. Kind regards from Holland. And it's Joachim. Try to pronounce that. Ha! I think I got it right. Jochem. Joachim?
Seems legit.
I don't know. I don't mean to pick on you. It was a fascinating story to people like Thunderbirds. We're going to wrap it up for the evening. For Tim Dennis, Lakeisha, and Eriko, we are here on Darkness Radio.
So there you go. That's the It's Just a Dog ParaShare episode from January 5th, 2015. Again, our apology still stands, Laura. We aired it again in the interest of putting a smile on people's faces, not necessarily to disparage your story there or to bring up old feelings. Our apology still stands. We put it that way. Again, folks, join us tomorrow for an episode from February 26, 2016. Detective Robert Snow joins us for a remarkable sign of angelic contact, and famed author Ptolemy Tompkins and Officer Tyler Beddoes join us as well for a tale of angelic contact and past lives. That comes up tomorrow on the best in paranormal talk radio. You've been listening to Darkness Radio.